Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, ladies and gentlemen, मेरे प्यारे दोस्तों, my friends from across the world who are listening to me right now. My name is Farad Asif and I am your host for Global Woman Inside. This phenomenal initiative that has been taken by myself is in fact keeps the woman spotlight on them, giving them voices, showing them that how powerful, how phenomenal women are, how they had worked so far and make our world as safer as possible, not only for us as individuals, but also for the children as well. As you know, as you must have remembered, little Zainab, who had been brutally raped, killed, and I was somewhere out of the country at that moment. I still remember how I felt, and the outrage across the country that has created such a phenomenal, strength. And they're women who had gathered together and rally around and built the momentum because of them as mothers, as aunts, as grandparents, grandmothers. They had built the momentum and makes the Zainab bill possible. These bills and these law related documents are significant. But as long as we could not implement them, this we could not make our children safe and make our children as happy as possible. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm amazed. I'm so happy and honored that today I'm joined by one of the momentous personality who had made children of Pakistan safer, tried her best to make all efforts to do everything possible to help us understand why child rights are important, why child protection is important, and why child sexual abuse or related abuses are there always, and what should we do now. So let me welcome Dr. Manizeh Bano, who is Executive Director of Sahil, one of the leading NGO in Pakistan. Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Manizeh, how are you?
Very well, Ji. Thank you, Faraji. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much, Manizeh ji, for giving us your valuable time, especially in these times when we are facing a lot of difficulties, though. But having you on show is amazing. Just to begin with, Manizeh ji, how it all started with children, how that whole work that you had done so far, where did the journey all begin? Where Manizeh began that beautiful journey that we see now?
For the children. Well, Farhat, actually, I've done social work all my life, actually. And this, as it happens, Sahil was begun by my youngest daughter. Because she said that this is an issue that nobody talks about. And so in 97, she registered her organization. There were a young group of girls who were working on it for many years. And then in 97, they registered. And that is when I came into touch with it. So then the journey started from there. And when after about 7 years, she said she had a burnout because they were very difficult years. Nobody was going to talk about it. It was not allowed on media. Nobody wanted to mention the word sexual abuse. So then she got burnt out after that. And then she said that I said, I'll help you out for some years. But she didn't come back, and I've been carrying on since then. And that's nearly 20 years now.
No. It's saying is 20 years is something, saying is easier. We can say 20 years, but, Manizeh ji, before joining Sahil, you've been teaching in different, in schools as well. You are an expert of teaching children, right? Isn't it? And you had been, built your career and professional degrees around that as well, isn't it?
Actually, because I was, well, in a way, I was actually president of the APSA School for Deaf in Karachi. And it was a voluntary job. I was just doing voluntary work. But let me say that I learned a lot and I taught a lot during that time. In fact, APSA had the honor of producing the first sign language dictionary in Pakistan for deaf people. So it was that long journey, 22 years there also, 20 years I was. And that is how I have been involved in curriculum, in teacher training, in development of materials for learning. And that has gone along with me. And then when I went to Lahore. I shifted for a while, and I was there then teaching in the special, as a visiting lecturer in the special education department for their master's degrees students. So that continued there also then. And before that, I was doing my MPhil in Norway, Oslo University. And there also I was doing teaching in classrooms, developing materials to see how well children can learn. So it's been many, many years of exposure.
Exactly. And your time during those 22 years of being around with special children and working for them, as you said, the dictionaries and everything related to that and curriculum building, does that help also? And what kind of challenges you face during those periods, especially as you see that in our society, dealing with special children, special needs, or I say starved people who are born with not only with special needs but different needs as well. So, what are the challenges that you face at that time? Because I think
that one of the biggest challenges were having trained people. We did not have trained teachers at that time. We were doing it, as they would take up the job. The second big challenge was that there weren't really many institutions for them for going to schools. Not many schools available either. And I think the third, this was all for hearing impaired people. I was also the president of the Society for the Disabled, which we had for Sindh developed, so matlab established. So all disabilities had a very difficult time. That I'm now talking about 40 years ago.
Yes,
they had a very, very difficult time, whether it was the visually challenged, whether it was the mentally challenged. Everybody had a very difficult time. They did not have the kind of recognition. They did not have the facilities. So that was its challenge. But like all new things, you have to work towards improving the situation. And that's what we were all trying to do.
And during those times, do you think that, say, 40 years or 20 years ago, the situation that you see right now is similar, or it has improved? Or do you see a lot of NGOs or people are moving forward or working, as you might have seen that at that time you were the torchbearer of doing such kind of things for the special people, right?
Actually, yes, lots of things improved because the government made special centers, a lot of special centers in every province, which was a big thing. NGOs also came into the field. But I think more than NGOs, it was the fact that the government had taken it up. That made a big difference. And they had a teacher training set up also. So yes, things changed a lot from then. But I think there may be a lot more that can still be done. That is what I feel, yeah.
And what has made Sahil to be Sahil? For example, as you shared that it has been established by young people. What has made them to be, and why it is called Sahil? Sahil.
Why is it called Sahil? Sahil was the name they chose because they said that Sahil is shore, matlab kinara, the shore.
Yes.
And this will be the place for them to come and feel safe. So that's, I think, what the story was behind Sahil, the word. And I think it was just their commitment that, because I was their first chairman, but we all said to them, the board generally at that time, we said, look, talk about child abuse. And, sexual abuse will not automatically be a part of it. But they said, no, it will get hidden again. And we want that this must be addressed. So it was their braveness and their commitment that made us feel that, all right, this is something we will work on. That's how it happened.
Yeah. And over the years, with your wisdom and your guidance, and of course your presence as its chairperson, and around, it has grown to one of the leading organizations, which still on the road, on the run for helping children in Pakistan, because many of them are, it's difficult times, often, with especially talking about the child sexual abuse in Pakistan. What do you think? What is the phenomena? Or what is the atmosphere right now? We are still in 1940s or say in 70s, while we are still in 2020, in another century. But are we still there, or there is an in progress, because I've been looking at your reports. I mean, it's tough.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? I mean, we are still moving ahead or backwards? I don't know.
No, there's been a vast difference. Yeah, I could tell you our journey of these 20 years, as I said, from where nobody was listening to anything, nobody wanted to talk about it. Today you have media support, organizations. You know, when we started teacher training, nobody wanted our teacher training. They said, no, we don't want to hear this. But today we get requests from everywhere, organizations, individuals, corporations, everybody, that please come and talk to us and tell us about this, train us on it, give us all the information. So there's a vast change, vast change. Legal cases, I mean, we've been giving free legal support to victims, and those, you know, that is a great teller that people are willing to take a step against this. And that has been a wonderful thing also, that people have come and said, yes, we want to fight it. We want the person punished. And that is a very big step forward also. So we have seen a much huge change. And we have also seen that even government has started supporting the need, of course, in a very big way now. And the courts are now being very proactive, taking up cases, quickly solving those cases. I mean, you know, giving sentences and not just letting it, because initially it would take years and years, and now it's done very much faster. So on the whole, there's been a vast difference and a big step forward, no doubt.
And Manizeh ji, your own personality or your own leadership, what have you done to Sahil to move forward to what it is right now and what it has achieved? For example, a lot of new initiatives have been done, especially related to children rights, about opening of the helpline and various other. What was your vision when you joined Sahil, or you started working with the young people? Where you want to lead this Sahil as an organization to where it is right now? At that time when you started, what was the vision behind, especially taking those small, vulnerable part of a society as children, as you know, in Pakistan? What was the vision behind it?
You know, Faraji, I really hate to say this, I didn't have a vision as such. I think we just have all learned along the way that what is needed. So as things came up in front of us, as we saw a new problem, we thought, how do we deal with it? How shall we make it get better? So like, for instance, with Sahil, we started with teacher training as our basic. And then we just developed materials for children. Then we thought, all right, we've done these puppet sort of animations with messages, etc. But now we need to go forward. Then we started working with communities. So we went down to all the grassroots. For that, we said, well, what will we give them? Because they don't have technology, and how will they remember messages? So we developed posters with all the information and pictorial and simple straight sentences so that they could recall all the things that we've told them. So it's really been a journey of learning for me also, as to how and where we will go. And we are forever, let's say, thinking that what next? What is next needed? Now, if we have this much awareness or this much support, where else shall we go? What else can we do to make this more positive and more meaningful? So that's how it's gone.
And but when you talk about teachers training, what exactly is that? What is the curriculum and how you involve? Is it like what kind of training that you give?
Yeah.
For example, there are people around me who might want to understand what kind of trainings that you give related to teachers training.
Yeah. You see, what we do is we have a 3-hour session, workshop, one day. It used to be 5 days, and we realized teachers don't have that kind of time, so we had to condense it. But what we give them in that is we talk about child rights, the UNCRC. We tell them what kinds of abuse and what its effects are. And then we have a beautiful book called Meri Hifazat, which gives all the protection messages which they are to share with children. So they have a whole range of what is involved. And then we'll give them the animations also, which they can show. And alongside, we've developed a puppet show for children. And we show that to children directly after we've trained the teachers. So that the teachers know and the children also know what it is that they must be careful of. And that we hope then brings them together to give full protection. That's how it is.
And teachers are from the different academics, different institutions, from the government department also, from the private sector, from rural areas. So their teachers are from different backgrounds, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, first it was mainly government teachers, then it's gone into private schools and across the board. Big in 2012 to 14, we did the big educational institutions like DIL is an organization which looks at a lot of schools. Then there was, I think, there was another very big organization. We gave them the training so that they could take it to all their schools. So we've done that we've done, I don't know, more than 40,000 schools actually.
And so, Manizeh ji, because of your agency, your presence in the Sahel, you have also contributed in national legislations and contributed your own input. What kind of legislations and legal aspects are there for children to be protected in Pakistan? What are the different and how effective are they?
Actually, Ji, I have to say that I think we have now got excellent laws to deal with children and especially child sexual abuse, pornography, and these have all come in very recently, and they are very good laws. I think where we need an extra push is with the implementation. That needs to be, it has to be, the laws must be well known by everybody. The courts must be, well versed in being able to, the investigation officers need to know how to do the best investigations to make the cases strong. So I think we have everything. In fact, even before these laws, we were getting convictions of abusers, but I do feel that for implementation, we need to maybe focus a little more on that.
Exactly. Manizeh ji, please do share that we often say that women are the ones who can change the society, who can build the society. For example, we have an example like you. But why in our society, this rape culture, and especially related to abuse with children, especially young girls, is increasing day by day? We see daily this is happening. So what kind of roles that you see women should be playing, especially when they are women, their wives, sisters, daughters, who are elders, can play to, at least do something for minimizing these kind of attitudes in men, especially?
Yeah, Farahji, I will first want to say it's not just women. It has to be the men also. So we don't do any training only with women. We make sure that in any place we go, the boys and the girls, or the men and the women, are both thoroughly trained on the topic, because it is not women who can only do it. So that's for sure. So we don't want women to think that they're the only ones who are responsible.
But they can play it.
But yes, I think that what is very important is that there should be a lot of awareness about what can happen, how it happens. And that is why also we have the statistics, our cruel numbers, because that not only tells you how it's happening, where it's happening, to whom it is happening, and the fact that gender is across the board. It is not that only girls are accessed. And also to remember, it's unfortunately across the world. It is not just Pakistan. And some of the figures are horrible all over the world. So, but we all want to do the best for our own country. So I know that they're also trying, and everybody they can, and so are we. So we hope for the best, inshallah.
Yeah, exactly. So what are the cross-cutting indicators, and of course those attitudes, especially related to culture. We have a culture of course we name them, we connect that culture with religion as well, about these young children's or child marriages. What are your organization take on that, and how you are moving forward and building the momentum around, and promoting those child marriages issues in Pakistan and of course across the world.
Yeah. Well, we have been doing trainings on child marriages. We have a manual developed, and we've been talking in villages to various groups, to communities. We also address it legally. We are now giving free legal aid for any child marriage case that may come up, who may want to have legal aid. Farahji, this is a very, very difficult thing, and it takes time for these things to change. So you can't hope कि जी हमने बताया तो अब बदल जाएंगे. Now they'll change. We know that's not possible. Also, the lack of education generally, to have an open mind, to understand that there is much more to things than just sort of feeling that this must not happen, this cannot happen. So there has to be a lot of change in that mindset, and it's going to take time. But I think people are beginning to become aware, and I think they will soon come to that stage when they say, yes, this is not something we like. We have had good examples. We have had examples where we have given training, and the young girls have said, all right, to their parents, we'll marry whoever you want, but we will not do it before we are 18. We are too young. So we've had good examples like that, but we hope that there are many more like that. That's what our hope is.
And please do share that these kind of trainings that you conduct in Sahil, how effective are they? For example, most of the people who come to the trainings, but they do not, what is the percentage of how effective those trainings are in implementing and moving forward your wisdom amongst the society, amongst the communities there in the grassroots?
Well, we do follow-ups normally, and there's a monitoring system also. So what feedback we get from them is always very positive. It's always that, yes, gee, we know, and now we are different. We are better parents because we do a lot of parenting skill. Because, the whole range of things affects children, parenting skills, and understanding their feelings, understanding growth, recognizing signs of abuse. All that is a part of our training. So we get these positive feedbacks when we do a follow-up. However, I don't think we can expect massive change in a small time. It's going to take years and years. I mean, if you think of it, in 20 years, only now have people started listening to us, really.
Yes, exactly.
And it's not just one person saying it. The whole environment must give them the same message. The whole environment must tell them, this is not right, this must not happen, this has to be changed. And then you'll find that it'll have a permanent effect. Yeah.
And while going through your work, and of course Sahil's, sometimes I see you as Sahil and Sahil as you. It's like doing the same thing, right? It's your baby, it's your grown-up child, right?
That's not fair. No, because if I didn't have my fabulous team with me, and I've had people now with me for more than 10 years, I would not be able to do anything without them.
Yes, of course, yes. And your contribution is so phenomenal.
That our best donors have been the Norwegian Embassy, who've done fantastic work by supporting us for so many years. Because if they hadn't done that, we would not have been able to be on our feet the way we are today, where we are a very solid organization, only because they continue to believe in our work and support us.
Yes, exactly. And exactly. And it's the synergy, is the agency, is the wisdom and the passion that we see. Of course, lead and the rest follows, as you say. Manizeh ji, while we are discussing about the work about Sahil, the Pakistan is currently at the very lowest place in child rights index. It is only at 151 position, and when you look at those positions of Pakistan in, say, in child rights and gender rights, we are at very low. when will we able to build ourselves to be something better as compared to our, say, we don't want to compare ourselves to, say, Norway or European countries, but we want to only compare ourselves with the region, for example, Afghanistan, India, say Bangladesh, or many other regional countries, but we are still very low even in compared to them. How we can improve ourselves, Manizeh ji?
Farajji, this requires quite a few things. For one, it will require complete commitment from the government, a real commitment that children must come first. Now, we also have to accept that the government has so many issues of its own, and it is very difficult. There's no doubt. I don't think we can ever say that, no, why it should happen overnight. It can't. We are a very young country also. And again, very deep in traditions. We have a lot of deep level traditions which we are finding very difficult to re-examine.
Yes.
So all these things will take time, and I'm sure we will get there. I'm sure we will get there.
So, Manizeh ji, another important initiative that Sahil has taken is about training for children and awareness programs at the community level. Can you share about that as well? Because there is one friend of mine who has also asked question that how to give awareness to those kids who belong to the very lower class or lower tier of the society, or maybe minorities who do not access to technology, neither have access to information, and how you are targeting those through this program.
Well, when we go down to the community, and now we go to the children in their schools also, and we have, our messages are so simple, Farajji. They're so simple that there is no issue for anybody to understand them. And after we show a puppet show, I can assure you, you go to any school where children have seen a puppet show, they will rattle off the stories to you. They'll say, this is to happen, and we mustn't go alone, and we must do this.
Exactly.
They have everything. So that's how we approach them, and we hope that inshallah one day, maybe when everybody gets these messages, everyone will be able to be better protected, the children especially.
So while we're talking about child marriages and child rights as well, there's another important issue is child employment. As you see, a lot of young children who are out of school. Pakistan is one of at the lowest index where children are still out of school, even in before coronavirus. We have large number of school as well. But what is your take and your Sahil's initiatives related to that, especially employment, because that also leads to abuse and that also leads to marriages. It's connected factors.
Right. Absolutely. Unfortunately, we can't go down that lane, Farajji. We have to stick to what we can do. And what we can do is try and see that everyone gets the message about child protection, what is involved, and give them the support services of counseling and free legal aid and free counseling, which is what we do. For this, there has to be a much bigger commitment from government, from the organizations who are working for it. There should be schools. There is no reason why children should be in labor. There's a gradual movement out of it can easily happen, but there has to be a commitment towards it. And I think there is up to a certain level, but I think we need a deeper commitment there.
Exactly. That's amazing.
But one other thing I would like to add is that domestic work of children must be banned. There's no second thought on that. And that is not something that needs any advocacy even. It just must be banned. And that is
it. Exactly. And you must have seen that those friends who are just joined me, we are in conversation with Dr. Manizeh Bano, who is phenomenal in promoting in Pakistan and of course globally about how children should be protected. She is founder and executive director of Sahil, educationist, human rights activist, social activist, and you name a few, and she has done a phenomenal job. Manizeh ji, over these last many years that you had worked, how far that you engage the policymakers. For example, in the parliament, there are a lot of allies that you need related to child-related issues, right? So how have you engaged, or your organization have engaged the parliamentarians, and you build that rally round and make those bills possible?
Well, I would say thank you to them, because parliamentarians have always contacted us. They have always used our data. And we were, for instance, we are on many of their committees and on their consultation groups. We've been with the Human Rights Ministry. We've been with parliamentarian group, which was looking at child rights and laws, legal laws. So we have actually, in a way, you could say, partnerships with them, and said, yes, we are there. What we can do, we will do for you. And what you need to do ahead, we will help you to guide you in any way that you want. And so formulating or helping them to understand a particular aspect or a law and what is entailed in it, we have been giving them feedback throughout. So that's what we do.
Mm-hmm. And what about, since we are talking about the child rights and protection, the children in the prison as well? So, Sahil, what is the Sahil's connection there in the prisons, and how you are engaging those people around for promoting the understanding?
Yeah, we actually worked a lot in prisons, in Adiala jail at that time, for 6 years actually, up to 2012. Okay. In Adiala jail, we did so much work with juveniles. We gave them so much counseling and building up their self-esteem, and we did a lot of work with them. And they would have sports, and really, I mean, the jail administration said their children were so much better behaved and so much happier and so much more positive. But unfortunately, then in 2012, Adiala jail became very high profile because there were political people being jailed there. So then we had to stop going, because they would tell us, you can't go today, you can't go because there's something wrong with that. So we left that. Then we got an opportunity again to upgrade district jails of our 4 regional offices. So Lahore, Jafrabad in Balochistan, Sakkar in Sindh, and Aptabad in KPK. And and so we were able to actually improve the juvenile barracks there. We were able to give them things, etc. But beyond that, working in jail is very difficult, because you need a lot of permission, and it's very difficult to get that. So we haven't done anything more than came easily, what we could do.
So I was one of the part of the committee there in the children's there was one of the committee that is related to the children rights and everything, and there was discussion going on related to how children are being put in the prison in such inhuman conditions, where almost where you place, say, 10 children, there are 20 or more than that in one place. So Manizeh ji, as you must have seen, and your own NGO has done a lot of work in creating the indexes related to children rights, and you regularly publish those reports, and your reports are being considered as authentic, especially when it is being cited by the parliamentarians and highest levels, right? So how you manage those indexes, and what are the key factors that you utilize to indicate those indexes, especially, and how you relate all those factors and numbers?
Actually, we monitor up to 90 newspapers every day in our offices, and we take out all the reported cases of child sexual abuse, early marriages, abduction, missing children. And we then compile all that data. And in that data, we see who has done it, where has it happened, which districts is it occurring in, what happened, was it registered, was it not registered. And then we even send every single case where we can get the address, or even to the police station, an offer letter that we are here to give you free legal aid and counseling. So if you are wanting it, we are here. So we get a lot. I think we've done many cases over the years, but I think at this moment we have more than 100 cases with which we are doing, and that because they take time, they don't happen in a day, and so there are continuing new cases come all the time, and that is how we get them also, because then they write to us and say, yes, we want your help. So this is what.
Thank you, Manizeh ji. Because of you, our children are, day by day, we're getting safer, at least a little bit. But cases like Zainab, little Zainab, as you must remember, that horrific incident has created such an outrage across the country, and because of that, there is a lot of hue and cry that the government must do and the state must do, and as a result, there was a Zainab alert bill, and recovery and response bill has been created. So, what is the contribution of Sahil, and how you are implementing and helping the parliamentarians and people who are the policy? Okay, bill to pass कर लिया है, अब इसे implement भी करना है भाई.
जी बिल्कुल, we have given them recommendations. Also, we were on the committee consultation to develop it. So we are with them on that. But yes, implementation pe now they will have to really work hard. But that's something they have to do because it's a government initiative. So they will have to do that. But yes, we are there to help in any other way that we can. But we definitely are they're in consultation with us on a lot of these.
And what is this cruel numbers at Sahil? What is this cruel number?
I'm telling you, where we monitor 90 newspapers almost every day and collect all the data on cases. So this is what it comes up finally as cruel numbers. That's our title for the research, for the statistics.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So, Manizeh ji, you also provide free legal aid and free assistance to those survivors, those strong people. I will not like to say that they are victims or anybody. They are survivors. They are the resilient people of the world. So, how you are helping them, and what are the helplines, and how they people must approach you if they find any difficulty in that?
Well, a lot of the times we are contacted by people who have heard from somebody else that go to Sahil. Even that happens. But otherwise, as you can see, we have a website. We have all our contact numbers. We have a helpline. So people do call and ask directly for help also. So that's how we support people.
And what are the regular, I mean, you must have been receiving not only the cruel numbers, but people who are approaching you through these helplines is also giving you the impression that how much the level of, abuses are increasing and how this growing or lowering down. Is it that case also?
It's very difficult to tell whether it's increasing or lowering down. We only know it's reported more. That we can tell. Ke bhai, itni reports, there were only so many before, now there are so many today. This we can tell. What we do not know is how many cases have gone hidden. We don't know how many cases people have not started off and moved back. A lot of cases go into compromise the minute they are, start to think that we'll do something. Then the people, because it's always a power game, the abuser is always more powerful in one way or the other from the victim. So the result is they immediately go into compromise. They'll make a deal with them. So we unfortunately cannot say that this many will be abused or were not abused or have been abused. So it has to be only what is actual facts that we have, which is reported cases.
And Manizeh ji, since it's a digital age, it's all technology, and as a result of this, there's benefits. There are also difficulties involved in it and challenges as well, especially for the children. As you see, there are a lot of pornography and a lot of abuses and various. You name a few, and there are a lot of things are going around in Pakistan as well globally. So, what steps Sahil is thinking of taking or collaborating with other organizations in building awareness about that, especially related to the internet and web abuse, as you must have seen.
Cybercrime is now recognized, and FIA is the main lead for that. And you know that, for instance, recently this gentleman who was sentenced because he had that Norway, that whole connection with pornography. And for instance, we have a group called Child Activists Against Child Abuse, and they have took up that cause, that why has he been released on bail. So, you know, lots of people in different ways are contributing towards saying that things must be done properly, that there must be action, that there must be punishment, that it should. Unfortunately, this gentleman was convicted before the new law came in, which would give him 20 years, and he only got 7 years. But I do want to say that, you know, the mafias of pornography and child pornography are very powerful and very very well connected. And my personal opinion is that Qusur is one example of the child pornography mafia working, definitely. So it's hard to catch them also. It's hard to catch them. But I think that every effort is being made. And inshallah, I hope that we will see even better results.
Exactly. And you are, and because of that also, and your own, you know, in this group, a lot of awareness has been created within the government as well, and they had taken initiative, especially Ministry of Human Rights and Interior Ministry has also taken special steps in order to protect those children. Manizeh, you had also traveled internationally. Not only you represented Pakistan at various highest forums in the UN and various other places. So what was those? What are those phenomenal moments, aha moments for you? And especially when you represent Pakistan in a manner where, say, we were just discussing that Pakistan is at the lowest index of 151 or stuff like that. You represented Pakistan at such forums where other countries are also there, but their averages were quite strengthened, right? So what are the lessons that you had learned from them, from those countries, and you brought them back and then implemented and tried to help? So what are those? First, your, of course, travel, you know, log. We would like to know where you internationally represented, and then your experiences, of course.
Yeah, actually, you know, a lot of my travel was my own personal travel. I must tell you that. But I did do international travel work-wise also, and I think wherever one has gone, there are two wonderful things that happen. First of all, when you travel, that in itself is such an experience, and meeting different people, hearing their views, you learn a lot. So, I mean, I try and see that wherever possible, we encourage our people to go to different places, because it makes a lot of difference in understanding. I think where Sahil really took a big lead was with this program called Aflatun, which was based in Denmark, and it's about financial and social and financial learning. And there Sahil took a very big lead, because we developed interactive video on all their curriculum, and we shared it with the jail students also. And yeah, we did with the Adiala jail, and ours was the only Aflatun program. It's in more than 130 or 60 countries. And ours was the only program that was being done in jail at that time. So it was a big shabash for Sahil.
Yes.
And they were wonderful people. I have to say, the Aflatun group, the international group, was wonderful. They gave us trainings. They gave us a free hand to do things that the way we could best do them. And so they were also very encouraging and very wonderful. And that has been one of our maybe biggest marks. But also, I went and shared. ISPCAN is a very well-known international American organization against child abuse. And we have given research papers there also, and had fantastic lectures there. And we've also given it in Indonesia, where we had another research read out. So we've been able to contribute, let me say, a little to about Pakistan's abilities to other countries.
Mhm. Excellent, Manizeh ji. It's not only representing Pakistan, but doing something amazing for Pakistan and Pakistani children. Manizeh ji, while you are, traveling and you're working, how you are balancing yourself with your family? Sometimes it also happens that, you are just a guilty mommy like me. Sometimes it happens. Does it? आपके साथ भी ऐसा होता है या नहीं?
Actually, Faraji, my children were all very grown up. They were smaller when I was doing ABSA school in Karachi. That's when I used to only do half day. I would go in the morning and come back by time it was their school to come back in school. So my work was always, because it was voluntary work, I always did it in my own time. But now they're all, mashallah, grown up. So when I have joined Sahil finally as executive director, my children had gone, they were married, and so I was totally free of child responsibilities. Yeah.
So that is, so you were when you were, जब हम जैसे लोग बैलेंस कर रहे थे, तो you are just so
I
it's
was
wonderful
able
as
to.
well,
I
it's
was
amazing.
able to because I wasn't on a paid job. I was doing voluntary work, so I could choose my time. And it was school work, so school was always in the morning. So that was my time for the school, and that's how I managed.
So Manizeh ji, what you would say to the young people who would like to work in child protection, child promotion, and related issues? What you would say to them, that what should they do in order to be like you, for instance, or work in such a manner to build and rally your work and build more further, in a sense, and make Pakistani children more safer, have access to education, or protected. Mothers like me should not be worried while my children are, on the streets. So what should they do, these young people, because they must be listening to you right now?
Well, we are very lucky. We get lots of interns also. We get people who want to learn about Sahil, young people from schools and colleges. That's one way we hope that the word is going across. And I would just tell the young people, educate yourselves. Look at our sites, look at other sites, look at what the world is doing for child protection. But educate yourself. It's important that you understand what is involved. It's not a simple one letter or one word, sort of a solution. It means a lot of things. It means good parenting. It means you keep your children safe. It means how to talk to your children. It means you have a good relationship with your children. It means that your children must trust you. It means you must give them discipline. It means lots of things. So I would say, please learn. Please learn. It would be very good for them.
And how important, exactly. And how important is bravery in these kind of works? Because when you are dealing with those horrible people who do something horrible to children, I don't know, you need a lot of bravery. How important is bravery?
Bravery is perhaps absolutely one of the most important things. And brave you can only be if you have people who trust you and people who believe in you. Our biggest issue has been that parents will say, we don't believe what you are saying, especially when it is related to relatives, that this cannot be. Yeah. So believe your child, listen to your child, save your child by listening before anything happens. Because children often will say, I don't want to go there, or don't leave me here. I don't want to go there. And we have had a lot of cases like that. Children have said, don't leave us alone in this house, or we don't want to go there. And parents have said, no, why? It's your own uncle's house, or your nanny's house, or whatever. So learn to listen to your children. It's so important, and learn to be there for them. That's the only time they can be brave. And you have to be brave. If you want to take up a case, you have to be brave. You have to fight. And I'll tell you, Faraji, there's nothing in this world that you can get without a fight. You have to. Even changes, if you want, you have to fight for them. They don't come just like that. So we all have to fight for all these things.
Yes, exactly. And you have to build empathy for children. You don't have to be cruel yourself to, work for. And especially those beautiful children. I mean, they're hope of the world.
Yeah, that's another big tragedy. Look at the way the parents go and give children away. where domestic labor is all parents allowing it to happen. So parents may need more support so that they don't do this with their children. They need to be educated. They need to care. They need to really care. I think our care for children is of a different kind. We feel care means clothes, food, and maybe place to stay. But it's much more than that. It is love and attention, and it's not just clothes and foods and staying in a place. It is much more than that. So even if that is even not there, then maybe the whole thing goes, really bad.
But yeah, and when you look at being a mother myself for 6 and 8 years old, and those two young girls, I can really, what you're saying, I can totally agree. And of course, my children's school and their headmistress is very phenomenal and always listen to me, and I always share these kind of things with her. And those teachers should be trained, should be shared the information, and these kind of sessions that the friends who are listening, they must be listening to behavior of the children. Don't you see that? Don't you think that behavior or change of the behavior, especially when my question before, which was that how important the woman can play the role, is that mothers are always looking at young children, either they are old, their behaviors, young children, their behaviors, dadiyan, nanya, mamu, mamanya, ya jo khalaएं होती हैं, they always look at the children, and once a change of behavior, दादी अम्मा तो यूं पकड़ लेती थी ना, है ना? So my question at that time was also similar to the role that women play in raising those alarms, right? So what is your opinion? I mean, those are very important. That's what I'm saying.
Faradji, one of the most important things we give in our training is to see the signs, to recognize what is happening to your child. But recognizing alone is not enough. You have to have the confidence of the child. He has to be able to, because if you ask him and he's scared of you, he'll just say, no, I don't know, nothing is happening. So you have to, and that is why I say fathers must learn to play a more positive role. They must learn to make their children feel that there is a mother and a father to support them. Not a mother who is scared of the father. Not a mother who is being beaten by her husband, by the father. These are that's why we talk about gender-based violence in our trainings also. Because this wrecks the children. It spoils, ruins the lives of children. They think they're guilty. They think they're the reason their parents are fighting. And it's one of the worst things that happens. And we have domestic violence, and that has to stop.
Yeah, exactly. And you're so right that fathers are, they should play important role in the lives of children. If they really want the children to be successful, to be stable, and they be able to, fight the world and whatever the, challenges in life that they come forward. And, you must have experienced those young people who have been abused brutally and have the unstable life. But, sometimes, it's difficult for them to gather and rally. And, sometimes even the fathers or their relatives or their grandparents, they're often involved. And thank you for Sahil for creating this helpline. Those people who are right now listening to Manizeh ji, for her instrumental talk, and of course her own agency as a leader in showing the world that how important it is for us to understand child rights. You must connect with Sahil. If you are listening to us right now, if you're somewhere out there, if you have faced any, अगर आपको कोई भी मुश्किल है, किसी तरह का भी abuse या आपको torture face कर रहे हैं, तो please Sahil की website है sahil.org. Sahil is sure ये किनारा है आपके लिए, और मनीज़ा जी आपको बाहों में ले लेंगी, आपकी मदद करने के लिए बिल्कुल तैयार हैं. Sahil is also providing the legal rights, free legal है. कोई आपको परेशानी उस तरह की है तो आप कर सकते हैं, साहिल से राब्ता कर सकते हैं. We have also shared with you the website of Sahil, and then you can also approach them for any support that you are looking for. And Manizeh ji, thank you so much for for your phenomenal work of, I must say, 20 years is, for me, it's just saying is easy, but you must have struggled a lot. आपका आखिरी आपका message उन लोगों के लिए, for the parents and of course for the young people who are listening to you right now. First, for the parents, how important your message to them?
Actually, my message could be for all, because my message is, please start your journey in life with love. If you start from a place of love and affection, your habits and your natures and your actions will all be good and kind. And if you are good and kind, automatically you are protecting and you're not hurting. So I say, start with that. Please start with that. Don't start with anger, annoyance, hate, and separation and judgment and discrimination. Don't do that in your lives. And if you use that as your base, you will always be doing the best with everybody around you. So all of you, just remember that.
Thank you so much, Manizeh ji. Thank you so much for your wonderful work. May Allah bless you and protect you from any harm, and of course, may Allah keep you alive in our lives so that you can continue working for us and protecting our children and helping us to understand the children and their psychology, their lives, how important they are. Ladies and gentlemen, and my friends, this was Dr. Manizeh Bano, who is founder, director, executive director of Sahil, one of the NGOs, leading NGOs, non-governmental organization, an organization that has set a mark and phenomenally produced a lot of not only research but done a lot of trainings as well. If you are listening to us, then you can be in contact with Sahil anytime. Currently, because of the quarantine, because of this corona times, they are not in the offices, but on their website you can see a lot of numbers that are there, and you can approach them if you need any assistance of any kind, if you're facing any kind of legal issues. Women who are listening to me, my friends who are listening to me, please remember, children are our, people say backbone, economy, and everything. Children are our future. Children are our hope. When you see a child, you live again. You know there's a rebirth. And then when you see Dr. Manizeh ji and people like her and her work phenomenally producing a lot of hope for us all, that this world can be safe. Manizeh ji, there is a lot of love coming over from you for you, and those people who are listening to you, they will be sending a lot of things. Thank you so much for kindness. And ladies and gentlemen, this was another amazing episode of Global Women Insight. We'll be again together in coming days. One of my friends will be coming over, and we will be talking about and talking to that amazing woman, how they are producing and making this world a safer and better place for us all. Thank you so much, Manizeh ji. Thank you so much, everyone. Good night. Thank you so much.
Thank you.